It's time to set your lineups for week 12, and we are focusing on the tight end position. These are the playmakers that can make all the difference in a win or a loss in your fantasy matchup. SI's fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano is here to shed some light on this position. Fabs, let's start with the tight ends that you like for this week.
Yeah, I'm starting Hunter Henry. We said start him last week. He had a touchdown. He's got a touchdown in 2 straight games, so he's getting involved in the red zone there for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. He's seen at least 6 targets in each of his last 3 games, and the matchup this week, Kaitlin's very good against the Bills. They've allowed 6 touchdowns and the 3rd most fantasy points to tight ends. So Hunter Henry in those glorious Chargers uniforms should be in your active lineup this week. And then I like Evan Engram coming off of a bye. Now, Engram, he hadn't been reliable for most of the season, but lately he's been better. 10-plus fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 games. It's a good matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. They've allowed 6 touchdowns and nearly 15 fantasy points per game to enemy tight ends. So Engram, coming off a bye, should be back in your starting lineup.
All right, well, also on the stardom list is TJ Hawkinson and Dalton Schultz. But Fabs, let's talk about the tight ends fantasy managers should avoid this week.
Jared Cook has disappeared over the last couple of weeks. I mean, he has been invisible in the stat sheets. He's had just 6 targets in his last 3 games, and things are not going to get any better with Taysom Hill under center. He had tunnel vision for Michael Thomas last week. 52% target share. That's ridiculous. And plus, this is a bad matchup for Cook as well. The Broncos defense, they've allowed just 2 touchdowns to tight ends this year. So Jared Cook should be on the sideline, and so should Jimmy Graham. Now, I get it. Jimmy Graham has got a revenge game against the Packers, and he's given you nearly 10 fantasy points per game. That's pretty good at a bad position, but Graham has scored fewer than 8.5 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games, and Green Bay has allowed the 3rd fewest fantasy points to tight ends, so I don't think Graham is going to exact revenge on Green Bay this weekend. I'd keep Graham on your bench.
Well, fantasy managers should also steer clear of Trey Burton, who takes on the Tennessee Titans, and Robert Tonyan, who faces the Bears. Fabs, great insight as always. Appreciate you. For more of Sports Illustrated's award-winning weekly player rankings, make sure to get your membership to SI Fantasy Plus for just $14.99 a month.